going to show you how to make a 3D paper snowflake. I'm going to do a miniature version, but you could do this with a full-size piece of paper as well. So I have this lovely handout to kind of help me with my first one. I can just cut it out if you want to, or you could take some colored pencils and like shade each side. So maybe this side I'll shade light blue. I'm going to make it light if you're doing any shading because you want to be able to still see your lines. Once again, this is optional. You could totally just do it plain white, but here I have one side light blue, one side slightly darker purple. Once you're happy with whatever color you're doing, white or another color, I'm just gonna cut out my 6 squares. So it should look like this, and then I'm gonna cut these into 6 different squares. Great. I'm going to put my scissors to the side for now because now I'm going to be folding. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to fold on these lighter gray lines. So I'm going to start by folding it in half into a triangle. And I'm going to fold into half again where this gray line is so that I can see these dotted lines on top. Great. I'm going to do that to all of them. While I'm folding them, I'm really trying to make sure these corners are matching up. I match them, and I go back along this line, and I do the sides. That's gonna really make it crisp. So I match up my corner, go along. All right, now I'm gonna get my scissors back out again. I'm gonna be cutting on these dotted lines. I'm not gonna cut all the way to the end. They don't go all the way to the end. I'm just gonna cut and then stop. 1, stop, 2, stop, and 3, stop. All right, so it's going to look like this. Sweet. So I'm going to do that to all of mine as well. I cut on the line and stop. 3 little snips. Now, if you do cut all the way to the end, you can try to save it with tape, or you can just get a new square and try it again. We have lots of extra papers. Or you can make your own square. All right, so I got them. I can open them up when I'm ready. Now it's time for the glue. This is when it starts to get fun in 3D. Okay, so I'm going to be making these into little rounded things. The first one is actually the hardest one. I'm gonna use a pencil to assist me with this first one. I'm gonna take some glue and I'm just gonna put it on one little corner. I'm glad this glue dries clear. On the outside, and I roll it over. You could do now where you put the glue on. I just don't wanna get on my pencil. And then I put the other one on top so that it's like going over your pencil. I'm gonna hold that because this is the one that likes to become undone. So I'm gonna hold it and count to like 10 or 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that feels very secure. Yay. All right, so I've got this one done. I'm going to flip this over and do the next one. So I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on this and take it. I'm not gonna use my pencil this time because it's big enough that I can just hold it with my fingers. Usually, sometimes my little finger would fit best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so I'm gonna flip it back over again. This is key. We don't want all of ours on top of each other on one side. We keep flipping it back and forth. I can see my little one again. Do a little bit of glue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pretty cool. Last one, flip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so here we go. We got this. You can see my pencil marks. It looks beautiful, just white as well. And I'm going to keep doing the same thing with the rest of them, okay? So I'll do that same thing. I want to kind of do the same side, so I'm going to start on my my purple side, because I did my blue and wrapped it around. I'm going to make sure all my purple side's up where I'm wrapping it this way. That way it just keeps it consistent. If you don't do the same every single time, it's not the end of the world. But I like to have mine be fairly consistent. So I'm going to do the same thing 5 more times with my glue. If sometimes your paper rips because it couldn't quite reach far enough over it, that's okay. Mine did on a couple of mine as well. As long as you're not ripping it all the way over. You won't notice it in the end. If you start finding that your little pieces are coming undone, that means slow down and make sure that you're putting enough glue on there so that it stays together. It's nothing more frustrating when you're trying to save time to have to redo it. That never saves time. All right, I got them all done. Yahoo! All 6. They look great. I'm going to line them up. So you can see there's a big side that's purple and a smaller side that's blue. So I'm going to line them up so they're all the same direction. I have my big purple side on the right for all of them. So all in a row. See how that'd be 2 purple facing each other? Not correct. I want to go like this. Whoops, 2 blue. And I'm going to glue them right here together so it makes a long line like this. It really is important to hold it long enough that it sets, otherwise it will frustrate you by it coming undone. So if it is not sticking, you should be squeezing it tight and really counting to like 30 to make sure it sets all the way. I'm zoomed up, so I'm not holding it as long in what it looks like to you, but I really am holding it quite a long time so to make sure it doesn't fall apart. Okay, so I'm gonna check. Good. Staying together. Now I'm going to be gluing these bottoms all together. So I'm going to glue this to this, to this, to this, to this, to this. I'm not going to glue the far side together, so it's going to be open. It's not quite finished yet. But I'm going to glue this end over here. I'm just doing one at a time and holding it. And it gets a little bit harder the farther along you get, but you got this. You guys can totally do this. All right, team, you have one last spot to glue, and that's these 2 together. We've done all the middles, and this one's the one that you really want to hold the longest because it's got the most pressure on it. If it doesn't stay and you've been holding it for like over a minute, we can always try to use a staple to kind of help you get it together. Whoops, one of mine wasn't strong enough down here, so I'm gonna do a little surgery. Staying now. Lovely, and I love how that's looking. One other extra detail you can add if you have time, is you could take one of your pencils, you could poke a hole in the top, bloop, and you could put some yarn through that and make it look cute. Bang. To tie it, I always wrap a loop, stick the 2 ends, and pull. And that's how I tie the top of mine. So now I have a lovely snowflake I can hang somewhere. I hope you have fun, guys. As you can see, after you've made small ones, you can do the same thing and make a big snowflake. All you would need is 6 pieces of blank paper, and you would need to cut them into a square before you got started. And so here are some of those steps to kind of remind you of what you would do without those guidelines to show you where to cut. Good luck making a big snowflake!